Shalom. This is an emergency broadcast alert giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rekakadash, in whom we are in great debt. Double honors to the apostles of great millstone, who rule well, continue doing so, standing firm in the eyes of Torah, who I learned this truth from. To the elders, the bishops, Akim and Aquab, salutations and blessings to the house of David. We are the hopeful elect, the GMS. This is your brother Quasiyar with another quick one. And this one is going in pretty much to uh, something Tucker Carlson said with this guy he's interviewing. He's the creator of Pink Floyd. Um, because they talking about 9/11 and 9/11. The Lord did something really, really special for me, and like that something keeps coming back. And there has been key points that I couldn't explain. I wasn't calling up on Yahweh Bashin Yahushua at the time neither, although it felt special when I did see the men out there. I always wondered, and eventually the Lord pulled me in. And I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into that. That's not the point. The point is that is what the Lord has done, uh, physically and spiritually. Um, the Lord moves in mysterious ways. Basically and authentically, He uses His prophets to teach His people that what He has done, what He is going to do, and what you should do. And what brings me to this point is that let me just show you, because spiritually, you have to look at it spiritually, because if you don't look at it spiritually, you're not going to see it, you're not going to understand it. Because even me, when I was looking at it and I was, uh, should I say, looking it up, it was the spirit of Yahweh Shai who was guiding me that I should understand what I'm looking for and what I am saying. Yeah, demons always happen to show up when you're. Anyways, let me just play this piece here real quick.
Roger Waters, thank you for doing this. Let's just go back to the beginning, to that day, September 11th, 2001. Where were you when that happened, and what did you think?
Well, I was in my house getting ready. Actually, I slept late and I was supposed to deliver some packages to Building 1. And I got up late, and my boss called me and says, "Yo, turn on the news. I mean, turn on the TV, put it on the news." And I'm like, "Look, I gotta get dressed. I'm gonna be late. Put on the news. Put on the TV. Turn on the TV." And when I turned on the TV, uh, so, Channel 7 came up, and when I saw the explosion, I was like, "These devils." These are the words that came out of my mouth, and I was not reading, or I didn't have the understanding of Yahweh Shai the way I have it today. But the words that came out of my mouth were, "These devils." These devils actually did it. And when I mean devils, I'm talking about so-called white man.
I was in Island Studios in London making a record. And what did I think? I thought, can I use the F word?
Yes, you may.
I thought, fuck me. What? Because somebody turned the TV on. So we stopped working almost immediately. And I almost immediately called my then wife, Laurie, who was in New York.
Well, he already made the point, because I was kind of uh, I wouldn't say stunned or shocked, but I wasn't surprised. It was just like it was revealing. Like I was like, oh, like yeah, like damn. So where am I going with this? So bear with me, right? So I ask, uh, does the Bible say God calls Israel as the apple of his eye? And it says, yes, the Bible does say that Israel is the apple of God's eye. This phrase is found in Deuteronomy 32, verse 10, where it describes God's love and care for Israel. He found him in a desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. And it goes on to say, this metaphor emphasizes God's protection and special relationship with his people. Additionally, the concept reflects God's unwavering commitment to Israel throughout biblical texts. Not the so called white man. Does not fit the so called white man whatsoever. Because the so called white man rules by the sword, he takes it by force. He doesn't need to be led anywhere, right? So we go here to Deuteronomy 32 and 10, and it says, he found him in a desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. In Salakia, in Psalms 32, verse 4, it says, yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Every time you look, you don't know, you have a shadow over you of death. You look back, the so-called centurions, because, well, Salakia, so-called police officers, is what I meant. Those centurions, they behind you. You don't know. They put on the lights. You don't know what's happening. There's a shadow that hovers above you because you don't know what's going to happen to you. Okay, and this is only today because way back when, you knew something really bad was going to happen to you. At least now, you're not sure. It's more of a 50-50 thing. But still, nevertheless, you're walking in a valley that's full of death, which is America. I will fear no evil. Why? Because the Lord, you're the apple of the Lord's eye. You shouldn't fear. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, thy comfort me. So this word, the scriptures, when you read the scriptures, the Holy Spirit comforts you, delivers understanding. When you ask for it, and you open up to it, and not thinking that you're going to be delivered by yourself, that you think that you're going to be by your own two little feet, that you're going to march and change somebody's mind when all they want is to see you dead. So it goes into the legend of the Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi. The Devil's Punch Bowl is a site in Natchez, Mississippi, often described in popular and some historical accounts as a post-American Civil War concentration camp. What do you think they're getting ready to do again? Yeah, you better get ready. You mentally get ready for your Yahweh and Yahushua because they're about to do this again for free. And this is off because they knew they're just saying this right here, Africans, because that's another brainwash that they got you in, thinking that you Africans. Africans don't want you, bro. They don't like you. Look at the way they talk to you here. Look at the way when they walk among you, these Africans that are coming from Africa to America to work these jobs that they kicked you out because they're tired of your, well, most of you complain too much or because of what has happened to you. You know, you've been murdered. They haven't been murdered. That's why they don't complain because they don't attack them the way they attacked us. Anyway, it goes on to say the legend claims. No, man, it's a legend for a reason that Union soldiers, and they did, walked off thousands of formerly enslaved people. It says formerly. We ain't never get out of slavery yet, man. We still enslaved. You know, we don't carry shackles, but we still enslaved. Ain't nothing here belong to you, bro. In a natural pit, surrounded, and it says natural. That shit was nothing natural about that. They made it. Yeah, sure. The land was they had a natural way about it, but they carved, they carved and they dug. They used you, of course, to dig your own grave because there was no way out. There was only one way in, one way out. Leaving them to die from starvation, disease, and neglect, with some estimate as high as 20,000 deaths in a single year. So what happened to the rest of the years? Because that didn't happen in 1 year. They just, they, oh, 1 year, that's it. No. Anyways, the legend, it says, and it goes on to say, according to the African American, I hate to say that, but African American registry and some local narratives, the camp was established in the late 1860s to house a massive influx of self and emancipated. How the hell you self emancipate yourself, bro? When somebody keeps you enslaved and is constantly whipping you or putting a bullet in you. And it goes on. The site's name comes from its shape, a deep, hollow pit with trees on the bluffs above. Stories say women and children were looked in, locked in, Salakia, were locked in concentrated walled enclosures, denied food and medical care, and left to die from smallpox and other disease. Some some accounts claim Union soldiers refused to. Some accounts, we don't know. We don't know the accounts. Refused to remove bodies, leaving them to rot in place. Hello. This is what the scripture says that it's going to happen again. It's going to happen in a big scale in the city streets of America. Hello. historically, so like a historical reality. Let's see. Scholars and historians have debunked the 20,000 death figure as baseless, nothing, not, noting, Salakia, no credible evidence supported. Get the fuck out of here. The more widely accepted view is that the Union Army did not set up refugee camps. You got to be real stupid to believe this. I'm not going to read anymore. I'm not going to read anymore because you have black and white camera. You have black and white. They had black and white cameras already filming, right? They didn't have the the roll by. They had like a snap a snap thing, right? That they could put together as film. But mostly it was just black and white pictures, man. They have pictures of their dirty work. So-called white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. And this is why they gave it this name. They don't even realize that they gave it the name because of the Salakia. All right, so this is what happens when the devil interferes, man. These spirits, they try to throw you off the track. I hope that I can get back on track as I was. And going back to this thing here where they're saying that it was not, that it was a lie or something. Let me see. Scholars and historians have debunked the 20,000. Yeah, what about the Holocaust? What about that shit? As baseless, nothing to credible evidence. And like I was saying, you got pictures, you got literal pictures of the bodies laying on the ground. I've seen these pictures for myself. How is this not true? Real but much lower death. That's a lie. That's a lie. Why are those so many trees growing from this place from the bodies that fertilize those peach trees, man? Anyways, conditions were harsh. Refugees lived. Let me see. Wait, that's what made me make this video because uh legacy today, the Devil's Punch Bowl is known for wild peaches groves, but some locals avoid eating the fruit due to lingering local lore. The story remains as a potential symbol in America. His African American nation, which is not African American, is the slaves that they bought in ships. All right, so they use that because what a lot of a lot of our people were hiding in Africa, right? That doesn't make them. It's like people like a lot of people who come from another country now. Does that make them American? They're not making them American. Anyways, lore. The story remains a potential symbol of American history and Civil War memory, yeah, torture, even though its most extreme claim are considered exaggerated or fabricated. Yeah, you know why? Because that's the way Esau Edom, so-called white man, hides from his wicked ways. In summary, the devil, the so-called white man, uses this surrounding these enclosure, natural enclosure, was a real refugee camp. Okay, where he murdered Jake, right? And so let's move on because it says the survival, right? So there's a tree, right? In 9/11. This is the spiritual aspect of it. All right. So it goes to say, now listen carefully to what it says. All right. The survivor tree, the peach tree that survived 9/11. The survivor tree is a calorie bear, or should I say, calorie pear tree, often called a peach tree in popular memory, that endures the destruction of the World Trade Center at September 11, 2001, and has since become a powerful symbol of resilience and hope. That's Yahweh Shai, His mercy. That's what's giving us hope. In October 2001, construction crew found the tree found the tree at ground zero with Salakia again. I guess I'll read it again because uh, these demons are hard up, because this is, see, the scripture says that we are the apple of his eye, right? It shows you that. Oh, before I get into all this, let me go, because a lot of people don't understand that an apple it wasn't really an apple in the Garden of Eden, man. That shit did not exist. That the apple you know today did never exist in the Garden of Eden. Period. There was no such thing. Let's get into it, man. How apples were called in the old days. In ancient times, apples were not always called apples as we know them. Today, in China, for example, the wild ancestor of the modern apple was known as Nai. Nai during the Han Dynasty. This small, sour fruit with a large core was mainly grown in royal gardens as an ornamental plant rather than for eating. By the Tang Dynasty, through centuries of selective breeding, the fruit had grown larger, and sweeter, and its status changed from decorative to edible produce edible produce. At that point, it was given a new, more vivid name, lingo, which evoked the image of fruit tree in a forest, Latin, or maybe Eden. Let me see. So since it's in Chinese, and this is in English, I don't think it relates. Nevertheless, let's continue. So it goes on to say here, where is it? Uh, so they once they which invoked the image of fruit tree in a forest, laden with red fruit attraction. So okay, attracting birds. So it became red. Okay, I'll read it again. By the Tang Dynasty, so throughout history, like after they played with the plant, right? By the Tang Dynasty, through centuries of selective breeding, so they mixed the plant with others. They somehow they got the fruit had grown larger and sweeter, and its status, and you can't just mix any fruit with this, right? It had to be similar fruit, close relatives of the tree itself, in order to mix in to it, either for you to bring draft it in. You can't just put an orange seed or an orange tree with an apple. My point of view is that everything was called apple at one point. And let's get to the point, man. It says here, so while apples is the modern term, in the past it had different names depending on the culture, like Nai in ancient China and Lindo in the Tang era China, and sometimes served as a genetic term for various fruits. Period. That's why peach is also the apple of the Lord's eye. We are the apple of the Lord's eye, and that's why this hit me hard. And I was like, wow, the Lord, does, he always constantly working in mysterious ways. All right, because the survivor tree is Jake. These are the the men who are. Let me just read it so you can. The survivor tree, the peach tree that survived 9/11. The survivor tree is a Caleripeer tree, often called a peach tree, Salakia, in popular memory that endure the destruction of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, and has since become a powerful symbol of resilience and hope, discovery, and rescue. In October 2001, construction crew found the tree at ground zero with snap roots. Listen carefully: snap roots, scorched bark, and broken branches. What has happened to the 12th tribe of Israel while they were in the hands of so-called white men? Despite its severe damage, a few leaves were still sprouting. Dialect! Significantly, signaling that it still had life. The tree was removed from the rubble and taken to the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. Well, the Lord is going to remove us from this place in the Bronx for intensive rehabilitation. And that's exactly what the Lord is going to do to us. He's going to rehabilitate us. He's going to restore us back to our original strength, rehabilitation, and return. Over the next 9 years, arborist, arborist and horticulturalist nursed the tree back to health. In 2010, it was replanted at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum besides the South Pool, where it now stands over 30 feet tall. It generated stumps and I can't even pronounce that. Generated stumps and new growth mark the visible der, difference or Salakia, difference between its past and present. Here goes. Symbolism and legacy. The survivor tree Salakia. The survivor tree has become a living memorial, a reminder of survival, recovery, and the enduring human spirit from 2013, not to 2023, not the memorial distributed distributed calorie pair seedlings to community affected by disaster worldwide, spreading its message of hope. Visitors can leave messages uh, on free weather resistant tags around the tree, which are preserved for years. And that's pretty much the word of the Lord being spread throughout the four corners of the earth by the hopeful elect. Let me see where I read it. Current status. The survivor tree has faced challenges, including being uprooted by storm. You can't make this up. When you look at it through the spirit, man, you know what this means. I'm gonna read it again. The survivor tree has faced challenges, including being uprooted by storm in March, but has been right pruned and stabilized with a solid chance of survival. All praises to Yahweh and Yahushai. It remains a central figure of the memorial visited by millions each year. Well, yeah, what should I say? The hopeful leg of Great Millstone will be uh, called. They're going to be like, oh, what happened to these people? Where they're at? Yeah, we're going to be delivered by Yahweh and Yahushai. In short, the peach tree that survived 9/11 is the survivor tree, a calorie pair that defied the odds, was nursed back to life by Yahweh Shai, and now, yeah, his children are being nursed back to life. Right? Can these bones live? Was nursed back to life and now stands as a beacon of resilience at the 9/11. Well, you know what? That's the Apostles of Great Millstone. Anyways, I hope this was satisfying. Shalom.